Hey guys, welcome back to another What If here. Today we are doing What If Deku could use magic part 2. Yeah. In the last part we left, well, we didn't really do a great job of, indicating where I left off. But what I can basically say from actually listening to it is that I left off around in Deku and I forget his name. Deku and Kachon being in the I think roughly when they're in the school, so not in the around when maybe a year. Well, yeah, I would probably say a year before your UA starts. Yeah, I'd say roughly around then. Anyway, I would say the best if you want to watch part 1, go right ahead. But yeah, that just explains how what magic. Well, not what magic is, but what magic elements Deku can use. Short story, you can use it all magic elemental magic, any type of magic out there he'll be able to use. But of course he doesn't really know what magic is. He's just recently found out from reading a random manga from a bookstore. Him and Gatson went in, and Deku so happened to pick up one that had magic in it, and he found out what his ability was called. Mind you, it's not a quack, because, I explained in part 1, so yeah. Anyway, can't really carry on from there, so, yeah. Anyway, so it'd be a couple of days, and Kachon will go, Kachon would come round, knock and go, Midori's mum, is Izuku, up, Izuku, up? And she's like, come in, come and catch on, Deku's in his bedroom. I just catch on, goes in, and he goes to Deku. So you're always watching All Might videos, aren't you? He's like, he is the greatest hero, and that is to go. Yeah, I thought you would have been either at a bookstore or reading books about magic, so then you could understand more about what you could possibly do. So I've done that a bit. And they go, besides asking me those questions, I was just thinking, what's going to be your plan after we leave school? Because once we leave school, are you going to, after. After school, what high school? I'm going to say it's high school or college. I don't know. I don't really know what age actually. I could look it up right now. Yeah, I'll look it up right now. And guys, be right back. So when it started off, he's 14, so I'd say he's around 13 years old right now. Because a year before he went to UA, so yeah. And he'd ask, Kachon, what high school are you going to go to? This guy's like, I was going, to a hero course, hero course. It's like, what school, what school? I'm planning on entering UA. How about you? It's like, I was planning on going to the same school. Is that like, so maybe we'll be in the same class as one another. You know, they both go, well, they both just think for a second as Katsun goes, you know, maybe we'll be in both in the same class. As that goes, maybe they'll think, that Deku kid's got some real talent, but that Katsun kid, no. Like, you know, nah, let's put him in, like, you know, class B. Like, yeah, I think it's, yeah, class 1A and then class 1B or class 2B or 2A. Yeah. I was just like, hey, haha, funny. Deku, funny, but we'd probably be put in the same class. Yeah, and yeah. Oh, like, you know, well, we'd ace it anyway, and if we end up, you know, being in the same exam area, you know, depending on, you know, like how they do it, you know, who knows, maybe we'll tie for first place, who knows. Yeah. I just go, I don't know, like Deku, I'd think she'd win if it's a practical examination. I'd think you'd win, like, and I'm just gonna say this up and but currently you are faster and stronger than me. Of course, that's only because you've got your magic. But yeah, you are faster and stronger than me, but of course you've also got to take time because you've got to enchant, you know, what you say. But of course, Deku will learn how to actually image what he wants instead. So you pretty much something, if you haven't seen Wise Grandman, well, yeah, if you have seen Wise Man's Grandson, yeah, I think that's what it's called, Wise Man's Grandson. Pretty much he's an overpowered person from another world, and he can, like, whereas most people, like, you know, whereas all of them have to chant, he's pretty much like images, he, like, you know, thinks of what it needs, you know, for fire, and then what, you know, like, he goes quite complicated, that kind of thing. So instead of having to, you know, like, cast it, he can just, like, straight up go, okay, well, flame, and he can either say it or he can just, you know, go, well, and he will just, you know, have a fireball in his hand, or that. Yeah, like, if you examine me, like, you know, you're about to shake his hand, and all of a sudden your arm is, like, just, well, your, well, not arm, but hands are just, your hand ain't there, and you just be like, sorry, I guess I imagined, you know, like, you know, your hand melting, and, yeah. Anyway, getting back on track. But yeah, that's kind of what Deku would be able to do eventually once he's got a better grasp of his magic. But yeah. And he will also be able to use teleportation, which will be quite handy for him. Also, guys, leave in the comments down below if you want me to give him one for all, or do you want to, like, give someone else one for all. So yeah. Anyway. Well, yeah. And, well, Cat's just like, well, you know, you ready to train Deku? He's like, well, I'm always ready to train, you know, like, so I guess we're going off to the forest today. He's like, well, yeah, whereas you're allowed to use your ability because it's not a quirk. I'm not allowed to use my, you know, like, you know, he'd go, like, well, no, he'd go, oh, Deku, you know, it's, you know, always gonna be the forest. I'm not like you who can just use his ability in front of, you know, in the public because it's not a quirk. Yeah, and that's, you know, the huge loophole Deku can actually use. He can, because it's not a quirk, he can use it to, but he can't, well, yes, he'll abide by, you know, the quirk laws, but he but by all means, because it's not a quark, he doesn't need a license, and well, he does need I think a license to become a hero, but yeah, he can still very much use his quark in the open without a license. So yeah, that's one loophole Deku knows of, and he does use it occasionally, but not often. Yeah, only if someone's trying to be mean to him or that, or trying to show off, then he would just go, oh okay, and activate his strength magic and whack them or that. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and they would go off and train for a good couple of hours, and Deku's phone would vibrate as it'd be his mum calling him, and Deku would go, yes mum. As she goes, Deku is getting late now, and I've got dinner's almost ready. So okay mum, I'll be home soon. Me and Katsun are just about finishing our training for today. As they tend to train not often, they do train together, but not often. They tend to more train separately to see who can get stronger, and with Deku it's just reading a load of manga at the moment to see what abilities he's got. Well, not what abilities he's got, but what he could possibly do. Yeah. Some he won't be able to do because his lack of mana reserves, his mana ain't that high. Yeah. So yeah, of course some are going to be restricted as the books would say. Some would say mana level, and one would say depending on your mana level can depend on what you're able to do, and that, and he's thinking, well, how do I know how strong my mana is? Do I just have to try every spell and then try a very big spell constantly, and kind of thinking like that, and then it'd be because it'd be. Then they'd think, another manga said, a person said, status open, I think. As he says that, and his status window would show up showing, it would really only show you, his magic ability, not his health. Yeah, it would just show, current magic, max magic capacity. So max mana level, so two different max mana level and max and mana currently. So yeah, and of course now he knows what mana, what his max mana is at. He knows if he uses his mana quite a lot, or if he uses it quite a lot, then his mana level will go up. But he knows if he drains it to zero, he will collapse from mana exhaustion, and then end up sleeping for a good day or two until his mana reserves are full, and then he'll awaken. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, and that will happen throughout the year, and that, and then it comes time to when the teacher says it'd come that fateful day that we see as where the teacher says, well, what's gonna be, what you gonna plan, what you plan on doing, and then he throws the paper up, I think, and says, well, I know you all want to go to UA and become a hero, as the teacher says, well, we've got two applicants, Izuku Midoriya and Kachon Bakugo. Yeah. So As they will say, well, it makes sense those two, because those two are the strongest in our class. It's like, yeah. As you know, everyone kind of agrees, and Baku goes, teach, don't lump in with those lots. As Dad goes, oh, come on, Baku, go. So you're saying, you're more special than anyone else? Is that, no. Well, to put it simply, I need go well to put it simply, you're more special than anyone else because you can use magic, Deku. That'd be the first time, it'd be the first time his classes, and it's like, magic? Huh? What's that? So we go, oh, so like, from like, a manga and that, is that, what, like some classroom goes, oh, I know what, magic is like that, ability that only, like people in manga have, and that in fantasy manga have, and they go, oh, that makes, it makes sense. No, it makes perfectly sense considering what you're able to do in that. Yeah. Yeah, but of course, like that, well, I'm not really going to tell anyone. Why? Because they're side characters and we don't know what happens to them after that. But yeah. And of course, like after a bit, Deku ends up staying, like, after school, writing down, like, hero notes and that, as he does, and Katsun comes up to him and goes, kind of like, that, you want to come with us, Deku? We're going to, like, walk around. He's like, sorry, Katsun, I, want to go home and try, like, I want to, like, practice a new skill that I think I may, like, I think I've found, like, well, he'd say, like, Katsun, as it's only, you here, I think I found a way to use my magic without chanting. It's like, you sure? Like, is that even possible? It's like, yeah, like, this manga, a manga at home that I've been reading, I think it's called, like, Wise Man's Grandson, and, he's able to, like, image what he wants to appear, and, that's what happens. As long as you understand the fundamentals of what the spell's meant to do, you can use it instead of chanting the words out. What you want to happen in some language that I don't really understand. You can just image it, and then, hey presto, fire appears, water, and Katsu goes, oh, well, I guess that kind of makes sense, like, have fun then, Deku. Guess I'll see you, I guess I'll see you in, like, what was it, like, 6 weeks or a month or whatever it was from now in the UA, entrance exam. Don't be late. Don't forget about it, don't be late. So, don't worry, Katsu, I won't. Yeah. But of course, while as we know, Deku ends up gets attacked by the sludge villain. So yeah, a couple of, I'm gonna push, sludge villain back a couple of hours. So it'd be like 2 hours later, Deku goes, Deku's phone rings, and he's like, huh? As it's his phone, he's like, Deku, like, dinner's, oh no, not dinner, it's like, like, Deku, are you in, like, detention or that? Detention, yeah. Where you just have to stay. What that means is just where you have to stay after school for who knows how long, however long it's for. Generally it's for an hour, but it could be an hour, 2 hours. Yeah. It's whatever the teacher decides. And he's like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I just forgot what the time was, sorry. And he's like, oh, okay, as long as, you're okay and that's all that matters. Anyway, I'll be starting dinner soon, so make sure you get back here, soon. He's like, oh, okay, Mum, I'll be back soon. As then he gets up, he's like, oh, wow, it has gotten late. Okay, well, I guess I'll, go home now. As he leaves the school. And he takes a different route than what he, I don't know if it, well, no, not differently. He thinks, well, I've taken this, route many times before, so nothing bad's going to happen, and if anything bad happens, I can just use my magic. So yeah, as he's walking, down, thinking to himself and mumbling to himself in his own mouth, then all of a sudden he notices something. He senses something off as he's been also practicing sensory magic, and he's like, "What's this? Something's off. Something feels off. It's like something's near me, but what is it?" As the sludge filling, just as the great shoots up, he's villain as he manages to just about dodge in time, and the villain's like, "Dang it, you make a perfect skin suit." And P goes on for what he did, and Deku's just, he's just there in his mind trying to, calmly think, kind of freaking out, but he knows he's like, calm down, okay. And think, okay, what does fine? He does. He goes all through that, and it's small, and he's like, I was actually like, dang, it's only small. As well, he's done. You put portions for a small flame, and that's when he kind of realizes that depending on what proportions you in this life, think of is going to be how big the flame is. But he'll slowly start to learn, that he can just image. But eventually he'll be able to just image the size of how big he wants the flame, and yeah. Because he wants a fireball, so he thinks then, okay, fireball, what else do I need for fireball? And, it slowly starts turning and spinning rapidly in a circle. And he's like, and he looks down, he's like, good, I've done it. And as the starts finishing, you've got a firecracker, boy. As that goes, not quite, as he throws the fireball at him, at the monster. Well, not monster, villain. At this sludge, as he's like, that did nothing. As it blows up, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. And Sludge is like, that boy as thinks it's sludge, right? So isn't it water, parts of it water? So maybe I could freeze it. As he then is like, as he then thinks about freezing it, as he then puts his hand out and just ice appears, and as ice shoots up, as he's like, what's happening? As he then freezes solid, as that took a lot out of me. As his mana levels are still low, but they are rising quite quickly, considering he tends to use his magic quite often. I mean quite often, I mean every day. Yeah. And and then All Might, appears, goes, All Might, falls down and goes, I am here. So it's like, oh? Boy, did you do this? He's like, All Might, you're All Might, yes, I did. It's like, I don't think you're, boy, do you know you're not meant to use your quack? It's like, yeah, no, I don't have a quack, All Might. It's like, you don't? Then how did you do this? It's like, well, I've got an ability, as he says, and All Might's like, oh, so you're that, Izuku Midori, is it? As he's, heard the name around, the city, the town. Then, a boy, Izuku Midori has got an ability, but it's not a quirk. And he is seeing, Izuku Midori, before you use it. So he's like, so you're that kid, huh? That's interesting. Well, I guess then, like, like the, quark laws don't apply. It's like, well, I do abide by them. I just, only in certain circumstances where I, use my ability in public. So yeah, I guess that's a good thing. But you don't really need a license then to be a hero. You can just start saying it's like I guess so. But I would rather I'd rather go and who knows, maybe I may get a crack or that in the future. Who knows? But yeah. Anyway. Or maybe they'll say, any, abilities that are different than quirks but are similar in a way, have to also follow then, like quirk, like standards, then, well, I would need a license and that to use my ability, and yeah. And they're just having a bit of a talk. I just, Mike goes, could you, unfreeze him, like, melt him, so, like, here, I've got, like, a, like, like, a bowl here, we can put him in here. He's like, oh, okay, alright. As he, well, the sludge villain is very much knocked out at this moment, so he ends up like melting the melting the sludge villain, and yeah, well, Deku goes, yeah, well, you won't ask for well, could he be a hero, because, well, he's got an ability that's even, well, could be, greater than all quirks, but he knows miracles with, power comes great responsibility. So yeah, and and I know I like saying that a lot, don't I? Sorry guys for me constantly saying and. Anyway guys, I'm gonna end it here. So in the next part we'll be talking about the entrance exam to UA and his first day of UA. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this, like, if you enjoyed so much and you want to see more just like this, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and a good bye.